Well, hey, happy Friday, everybody. It is Friday night with beef, and I'll tell you what, we are kebabbing tonight. I'm excited because we've got a great kebab recipe for you today, which I'll tell you what, in the middle of summer, sometimes you don't want to eat a huge, giant meal, and it's great because kebabs are just a little bit smaller, right? They're a little bit better portion control. I always feel like we get a better meal, a better experience. So let me head out here super quick and turn on the grill. We want to get the grill all fired up because that's going to be helping us tonight with our kebabs. But thank you for everybody that is joining us. We're excited to have you here. Happy Friday night with beef. You can see we've got the chat fired up, so please do not hesitate to let us know where you are watching from. And as always, big, huge, giant thank you to our friends at the Colorado Beef Council. I'm Chef Jason Morse. I have the honor of working with the Colorado Beef Council every month to do these lives, and we really appreciate you hanging out with us. So like I said, tonight we're going to be talking all about beef kebabs. Just a great way, I'll tell you, like I said, just a great way to have a really nice meal that is a little bit portion controlled, if you will. Sometimes in the middle of summer, when it is crazy hot outside, the last thing we want to have is a giant meal. And I sometimes just like it a little bit lighter. Kebabs are exactly that for me. Now, a couple things, questions we had ahead of time was, if I don't want to use top sirloin, because tonight we're talking about sirloin steak or top sirloin, it was, if I didn't want to use top sirloin, what else could I use for my kebabs? Now, you can always use a little bit of filet mignon, a tenderloin, works out absolutely wonderful. I've actually been switching some of my beef consumption to fillets just because I've just been enjoying some fillets lately, and the flavor is impeccable. So you could always start with a little bit of tenderloin or a little bit of filet, if you will. That'll be a good way to get started. A little bit leaner, right? Definitely not a bad eating experience, a different eating experience, which is really good. You could do ribeye. You could do New York strip steak. We've got top sirloin today. That's going to be our feature. But tell you what, ribeye kebabs, whew, amazing. And in fact, I think we'll go ahead and just make a ribeye kebab tonight to go ahead and get us in the mood. But like I said, a lot of different beef options when it comes to kebabs. My main focus on the beef selection when it comes to kebabs is something that's going to cook evenly, something that I can cube very easily into cubes, something that doesn't have so much fat that it's going to melt out, start a grease fire in the grill. I just like to find something that delivers a good flavor. Now, skirt steak and flank steak, a little bit different to use on kebabs because I feel you have to maybe fold them over and bunch them up just a little bit. So I don't tend to use skirt steak or flank steak. Like I said, I always love top sirloin. I love a ribeye or a New York, and definitely a little bit of filet or tenderloin. Now, tonight's recipe, we've got a great recipe for you. You can head over to cobeef.com and grab today's recipe. We're actually using this off beef. It's whatsfordinner.com. So we have sirloin steak kebabs with garlic, rosemary, butter. That butter we're going to use just to do a little basting, and I think that'll come out really good. Now, pretty easy recipe tonight. It calls for some baby portobello mushrooms. It calls for potatoes that we went ahead and microwaved ahead of time, so they're just a little bit softer. Calls for some cherry tomatoes. Excuse me, I wanted to give you a couple different options. So I went Brussels sprouts because Brussels sprouts. I wanted to show you just how fun those are on there. And then also a little bit of yellow squash as well, just to give you a nice squash component to what you're doing. So a basic, very easy recipe. Calls for your favorite beef rub. You can use salt or pepper, whichever works best for you. So first thing we're going to do is go through and just do a little bit of prep. We want to make sure everything is seasoned ahead of time before we start getting into the actual act of skewering here. You wipe off my board real quick. So don't forget to, like we always say, if you have questions, you can ask those in the chat section, and we'll make sure that we have everything answered for you in a timely fashion. Like I always say, we come back after the fact and rewatch these videos. We'll make sure we get everything answered for you. Now, first thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and take the stem out of the baby portobello mushrooms. That'll help us out a little bit. Those stems tend to get a little bit slimy, a little bit weird, and they tend to break really easy too. So we'll go ahead and just take those stems off. Now, if you have a big mushroom, which we're coming up on here in a second, this guy, I'll probably end up cutting that in half just so we have two smaller pieces. But you don't want to get too big. You want to try to keep everything on your kebab about the same size. That way it just helps everything cook a little bit more evenly and comes out a little bit better. Like I said, on the potatoes here, we basically have some baby red potatoes, and all we did was put them in a Ziploc bag, put them in the microwave, zapped them for a little bit. I put a wet paper towel in there just to add some moisture, but also to cook these partially. We also call that par cooking, but I just wanted to cook these partially. That would give me a little bit easier chance out on the grill of cooking these. Mushrooms, we're going to go ahead and leave those raw. But let's go ahead and get those guys seasoned up here as well. So reach into the magic drawer and grab a little salt and pepper. And I'm just going to use salt and pepper today. I'll tell you what, I make my own line of rubs, but I'll tell you what, sometimes there's something just beautiful about a little bit of salt and pepper. So we'll add a little bit of kosher salt in there, and we're going to add a little bit of cracked black pepper in there, and let's give those mushrooms a toss. I like to have, man down. I like to have everything seasoned before it goes on the skewer. Makes it so much easier. It really develops a little bit of that foundation of flavor. And then what it allows us to do while we are cooking, it allows us to actually just go through and baste with that butter, making it just a little bit nicer, okay? Now, I've got a stick of butter in here, and I squeezed a tablespoon of garlic in there. That is going to be part of our basting butter that we're going to use on these kebabs. And then I'm going to go ahead, grab a little bit of rosemary off here. I'm using about, I don't know, when all said and done, this is going to be about a tablespoon of rosemary. I'm going to chop that nice and fine to make sure it's not too big in there. We don't want it to be huge, giant pieces, but we don't want it to be so small that you can't see it. So we'll just give it a rough chop here. We're going to add that into that butter. Make sure we get that done just right. Then we're actually today going to heat the butter up on the grill while we are cooking our kebabs. That way, just making it a little bit more efficient, right? Efficient use of our grill, efficient use of our propane. Take a little bit of this Italian parsley. And all I did on the parsley was kind of rolled this up here real nice. Just kind of bunched it up and rolled it together just so I could get a grip on that. Throw that in our butter as well. Now, we are not going to bring this butter to a boil. The secret on this butter is going to be making sure that it just lightly melts. We don't want to bring it to a boil and kill all the herbs. And you can see what we have in there like that, right? So we've got our butter in there. We've got the rosemary. We've got parsley in there. So we're in a good place. Potatoes, done. Tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes, perfect size. These are actually those cherubs, those little fat ones that you get in the store. Brussels sprouts. All I'm going to do is take off the brown end of the Brussels sprout, the brown end of that core. And we'll just give these guys a trim real quick. If one of the leaves comes off, don't sweat it. Just make sure we get these all trimmed so we are good to go. Once again, like we always say, huge thanks to our farmers and ranchers for supporting us in doing this while we support them doing what they do. I'll tell you what, if you are looking for Colorado beef to fill your fridges, fill your tummies, be sure to head over to cobeef.com. Up top, there's a tab called Cooking. In that tab, you can find the beef locator map that will show you all the local producers and ranchers who are ready to fill your fridges, fill your bellies with some of that amazing Colorado beef. So as always, a huge thanks to them because they are working long hours. I can tell you, I saw one of my friends posting last night at 8:35 p.m. that their chores for the day were finished. So imagine starting your day at 6 in the morning and ending it at 8:30 at night when your chores are done. So, all right. So prep work is done, right? For most part, prep work is done. We've got the butter made. We've got our mushrooms ready right here. We've got our potatoes. We've got our tomatoes. We've got our Brussels sprouts. Now we have our beef that we want to do next. Oh, you know what? Yellow squash. This was another one of the items that I wanted to show you. Yellow squash is always great on kebabs. What I like to do on the squash is I actually like to wedge it, cut it in big wedges like this, because that way it helps with the seeds. Sometimes those seeds are pretty thick, and I just like to wedge it just to help not have to skewer it through the middle. That if the seeds are really thick, they're going to get a little soggy, and then the skewer will fall off. So I like to go sideways through here. After I wedge it, I just make a nice little chunk, and we get those ready for the bowl. We'll add those to our skewers. Like I said, I will tell you what, man, I can eat kebabs every night of the week. I feel like you could make them different, right? You could add different veggies. You could add onions. You could add peppers. I think kebabs are one of the most versatile foods on a stick there is. Not to mention, not only versatile, but they are absolutely fantastic and delicious as well. So, all right, check this out. So you can see we've got that little filet. What I'm actually going to do on this is I'm just going to cut this filet into like 6 even-sized pieces, right? So if you look at this here, boom, 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 right? I've got, for the most part, 6 even-sized little kebab pieces. So I'm going to put those in a bowl, and then I'm going to go back to this other tenderloin here, do the same thing there. Let's cut that way, and hold on a sec. We'll just cut this way, and that way. All right, we got those all cut up. So I've got a little bit of tenderloin in there, which we said was great. Here's my top sirloin. What I like to do on the top sirloin, look at, you can see where it kind of separates here. There's a little bit of connective tissue. Just go ahead and trim around that. We don't have to cook it. That way it'll make that kebab come out that much better. So we'll go ahead and get this trimmed up. Same thing here. Cut it into equal size pieces. That way everything is going to cook the same and we're going to be in a really good place. Like I said, the better you can do this prep work ahead of time, making sure everything is the same size, the better off you're going to be when it comes time for cooking, because these are all going to cook at the same speed and they're all going to finish at the same time for the most part, right? Which will keep everyone in your house quite happy, right? When it's time to eat, it is time to eat. So just go through here, make sure we don't have any chunks of connective on there, and get these trimmed off like so. And I'm going to save that ribeye. That's probably going to be my dinner after the dinner, right? After the show tonight, we want to have a little bit of dinner. That right there, it's my dinner. So, all right. So we've got tenderloin on one side. We have got the sirloin on the other side. Let me go ahead and switch to a non-meat covered hand. Go ahead and drizzle just a little bit of oil on there. We're not looking anything crazy. We're not looking to start a fire. We're not looking to do any flare-ups or anything, but go ahead and add a little bit of salt. That. A little bit of pepper like that, and then just with your hand, go ahead and give them a mix. Like I said, this really builds that beautiful foundation of flavor when it is kebab time, and that definitely helps out getting everything started and getting everything seasoned quite nicely. So we'll go ahead and just mix those up. Now I'm going to go ahead and let them sit. That's going to be kind of what we're going to do here. Just let those guys sit for a second. I'm going to grab a Ziploc bag and throw that steak in my fridge here. Like we always say, if you have any questions, please don't forget to put them over there in that chat section. We will make sure we get all of those answered for you as well. As like I said, we always come back and watch this after the fact. So we'll be back hanging out with you, getting everything answered, answering all your questions, telling you where you can find some Colorado beef, all that good stuff. So let's get in here, grab some gloves, because it is kebabbing time. Now, when it comes time for kebabs, not all skewers are created equal. I will tell you, I don't use wooden skewers anymore for a couple different reasons. They always seem to catch on fire. No matter how much you soak them, they always seem to catch on fire and break. And then sometimes they tend to fiber off, and you get some little skewers or splinters, if you will, of those wooden skewers in your food. Now, I like metal skewers for many, many reasons, right? Super easy to clean. I don't have to keep buying wooden skewers. They're not going to break in half. They also conduct a little bit of heat. So they're going to pick up some heat on this side and this side, rifling through the middle of those kebabs, and that's going to help us do a much better job getting things cooked a little bit faster, right? So let's do this. Let's do mushroom. Let's do piece of steak. And don't pack them on so tight. A lot of times, everybody wants to pack them on there super tight, and then the issue we run into is they're jammed on there so tight that they don't want to cook. So just alternate. We're going to do mushroom, beef, potato, zucchini, or yellow squash. So we have beef. Hold on. Then try to remember what order you go so you can just keep that order the same. All right, mushroom, beef, potato, and yellow squash, right? Not too, like I said, shove those things on there like I just did, and I broke my mushroom. All right, so if you break your mushroom like I just did, don't worry about it. Just go back on there. We'll do the same thing again here. We won't go too crazy like I did, and we'll just get things back where they go. All right, like that. And then we'll go ahead and skewer that guy. And then just for good measure, we're going to put one more piece of beef right on the end. Look at that right there. That is colorful. Now imagine You could do green pepper, red pepper. You could do onion. You could do quite a few different things. This is a good little meat and potatoes kebab. Nothing wrong with that, right? Now, let's say you don't want it. You want to do a meat and potato kebab. Super easy to do. Skip the mushrooms. On this one, we're just going to go all meat and potatoes. Like I said, having those potatoes partially cooked ahead of time is the best thing you could do. It is such a huge help because those potatoes are going to be done. So when it comes time to take everything off the skewer and get into dinner, you're going to be in a much better place, a lot faster, because you're not going to be waiting on those potatoes to cook, which sometimes they can take a little bit of time, right? So then, like I said, just be careful. Don't pack everything on here. We are just trying to get it skewered. We are not trying to, ooh, look at that. Doesn't that look good right there? I think that looks pretty solid. So there's our beef meat and potatoes kebab. All right, let's do a little Brussels sprout kebab now. Brussels sprouts are good too. Yeah, I'll tell you what, some Brussels on the grill. I'm in a happy place. You can find today's recipe at sealbeef.com. We've got that on there. This is called sirloin steak kebabs, garlic, rosemary, butter. So we already have that butter made in the little pan there. Get that through there, just like that. Yep, we already have the butter made in our little basting pot. That basting pot's super handy. You throw it right on the grill, and we're in a good place. So, all right, get everything in here. Sometimes you just put that on the board if it is giving you a little bit of a hassle. And we'll do a little tomato too. Okay, and then we'll do a little bit of steak on this end. And look at that. Like that, we've got some more color, a little bit of change, a little bit of difference on there. Now, let's say you're like, I don't even want veggies. I just want all beef. Right here, we'll make the all beef kebab. There is nothing wrong with 100% beef kebab, because at the end of the day, you're eating a kebab, right? Some people have veggies on theirs. You just have lots of meat, and that is okay as well. And just find all the same size pieces. See how nice and even those are? That way I know they're going to cook the same. They're going to come off the same. They're going to taste the same. All that good stuff, right? Get this meat kebab. Don't pack it on there either. We want to make sure these all cook right and equally and evenly. Put that, oh my word. It's a beautiful kebab right there, right? All right. So here is our just plain old meat kebab. So we've got really everything, right? We've got the basic kebab here with some potatoes, some squash. We've got meat and potatoes. We've got some Brussels sprouts. We've got tomatoes. And then we've got straight up beef kebab right there. We have our basting pot right there full of butter and all that good stuff. So let me go ahead here super quick and just organize my station just a little bit like so. And then we're going to head out to the grill. I already have the grill fired up. We're going to be cooking on the grill hot and fast today. We want to make sure these kebabs get done really, really well. Now, keep in mind, we also have some oil on there. So that oil is going to help prevent these guys from sticking, which is going to be really nice for us as well. So give me just a second here. I'm going to head out, get the grill set, and then I'm going to turn the camera so you can see us live outside at the grill. So give me 1 second here. Let me get out there, and then we'll switch the camera around. Actually, I got to walk in front of you. Sorry about that. Excuse me, pardon me, pardon me. All right. Beautiful, beautiful day out here in Colorado. Telling you. All right, let's get this turned. I'm going to turn the monitor first just so I can see everybody. Make sure we've got you set. On the Brussels sprouts, good question. The question was, should I pre-cook the Brussels sprouts? I do not pre-cook the Brussels sprouts because they're really going to cook super, super fast on their own. And I actually, if I'm being honest with you, when I was Brussels sprout hunting at the grocery store today, I went through and picked out all the small, same size Brussels sprouts because they have them in bulk, which is great. So if you go through and pick out small Brussels, you don't need to par cook the Brussels at all. All right, we have our grill nice and heated up. So we'll go ahead and add those kebabs on there. And then, like I said, those metal skewers do such an amazing job of conducting heat. So we get them on the grill like that. Everything is good. We've got our butter on there. We go ahead and get a little bit closer here for you guys so you can see that out in the lot. This is our outdoor cooking stadium. So get to enjoy a little fresh outdoors, right? All right, let's get in there tight. There we go. So now we've got those skewers grilling up perfectly. You can already see a little smoke coming off. We've got our tongs ready. I'm just going to grab a basting brush super quick. for that butter. And then in that basting pot over there, you can see we have the butter right here. So we've got the butter already sitting in the basting pot. Like I said, we just want to slowly melt that butter. We're not looking to bring it to a boil. We just want to get it melted a little bit and get everything going. If you do boil the butter, one of the issues you'll have is that rosemary will turn very dark and black, and so will that parsley. Okay, so now check this out. We're already starting to get a little bit of color on here, right? So we're going to go ahead and start rotating these kebabs. See that? We're getting a little bit of grill mark on there. Like I said, we are cooking hot and fast today. So we want to just keep going hot and fast. And that's better too. I really honestly, one of the tips I give a lot when people ask me, how should I cook beef? Hot and fast. It really enjoys being cooked hot and fast. You're going to cook it. You're going to sear it. You're going to lock in those juices as much as you can. You're always going to lose a little bit of juices when you cook beef for a little bit of moisture. But the hotter you can sear, the faster you can cook, the more you're going to protect that steak. You get that crust or that Maillard reaction where that beef starts to turn brown and roast off just a little bit, and you're caramelizing that meat. You're going to get that at a much higher temperature. And then go hot and stay hot. When we cook these, we are cooking hot and fast. We are going to keep it going hot and fast because the minute you turn the heat down, what happens is you rest that meat. And the more you rest the meat, the more it relaxes. And when it relaxes, it also tends to purge a little bit of moisture. So we just make sure that we don't relax it too much, right? And keep it going. So again, and the beauty of these kebabs, you can cook them to your desired doneness. So if you are a medium rare type of human, cook them how you want. Rare, medium rare. Crows are crazy tonight. They're loud in our trees. So I apologize. And then to get on that butter, we are just slowly melting this butter, not trying to get it crazy out of hand, but we're just trying to get it slowly melted. And then what we're going to do is use a little bit of that butter to go ahead and baste those kebabs. Now, when you're basting the kebabs with butter, we want to be very careful because obviously there's going to be some fat in that butter, and that fat is going to flare up. So I'm going to do more of a dab, right? I'm going to dab into the butter, and I'm just going to slowly dab onto the skewer, being careful that I don't bring over a ton of fat and start a flare up or have a little fire. And if you get it, don't worry. Like we always say, just close the lid. Don't stress out about it. We'll make sure we remain calm at all times, and we'll get it handled quite nicely. So we'll go ahead and close the lid here just a little bit. Let those build up some heat, build up some temperature, and then we will get to cooking. Coming up next month, another fun recipe. It's going to be August. So definitely dog days of summer. I'm thinking like beef lettuce wraps, something fun like that. Please let us know in the comments. And also we will ask you on the Colorado Beef Council Facebook page what you'd love to see. But I'm thinking like maybe some lettuce wraps, something even a little bit lighter just to definitely give us a great meal and get out of that heat just a little bit. But those should be super fun as well. So we always like to do fun things and get you well fed and drooling over what the possibilities are. But man, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the color on that. Sorry, let me come up this way. Look at that. Isn't that nice? With a little bit of sear on there, a little bit of char. Beautiful part too. Those crispy potatoes. Oofta. Can't ask for more than that. All right. Go ahead and pull that butter quick. We have that butter just melted really nice. What I'm going to go ahead and do, like I said before, is I'm just going to kind of dab it on there. Nothing too crazy. I kind of want it to kind of just drip down a little bit. If you get a tiny little flare up, don't worry about it. But as you can see, I'm going really slow and really light on this butter. If you baste it on there heavy, you will definitely have some major flare up. So I'm just trying to keep it light. Just give you that little bit of safety reminder. But you can see we've got a beautiful glaze on there with that butter, and the seasonings and everything should do a really fantastic job. Now, because I cut that beef a little bit smaller, total cook time on these kebabs, you're probably looking at 7 to 9 minutes. And that's from the sear to the rotation to the finish. So about 7 to 9 minutes for a good medium rare kebab. You can always cook them longer if you want to, but I like them. I like the veggies to be crispy. I like meat to be about medium rare. Hell yeah. Broke off a chunk of mushroom here. I better try that for quality control. Not bad at all. All right, my other chef's tip of the night for you. Make sure when you season your butter, don't go too crazy with salt. because remember, we have salt and pepper in the steak as well. So I really try to be careful not to add salt on top of salt on top of salt. So just be a little bit careful what you're doing so you don't get over salted. All right, these guys are done here in just a minute. Giving one more baste on that. Telling you, smells good out here. Absolutely smells good out here. Nice windy night in Colorado. It's a little bit cool too, but overall, I think we're in a happy, happy place. All right, pull these kebabs off quick. Nice thing about this too, don't ever hesitate to make an extra kebab, because you know what you get with extra kebabs? Leftovers. Oh, you've got salad for tomorrow, but look at that right there. Look at. Not too shabby. All right, let me put these in the kitchen here. We will turn everything back around, and we'll show you what we've got. And then we'll turn the camera off so I can eat. You don't have to watch me eat. All right. Get this turned around just a skosh. All right, camera's repositioned. Television monitor is there. We are good to go. Tomatoes look great. Mine always get overcooked. What am I doing wrong? I'm going hot and fast. That's a really good question. I'm going hot and fast on here. I also got the cherub tomatoes. They're those little fat cherry tomatoes. They're just called cherubs. They tend to be a little firmer. I always try to look for a little firmer tomato. Then I also put the potatoes in protection mode. So tomatoes in protection mode. So I've got these tomatoes kind of hiding out in between the beef and something else, so that they're not sitting on the end where they're going to just melt away and fall off and get overcooked. But we just try to keep them looking pretty nice. Yeah, that's hot. I'm not sure what I was thinking there, but look at that right there. Isn't that solid? And then I drop it. But all right, so let's go ahead and just carefully pull that off. Got a nice little pile like that, and you're good to go. Like I said, the best thing is those beef skewers were probably already catching on fire. These metal skewers, you can totally wash them, reuse them again. And like I said, they pick up heat from the tip, from the handle, and then they bring that heat through there as well, making it even better. But I will tell you, you definitely cannot go wrong with this recipe. And like I said, make extra kebabs, because tomorrow having this on a steak salad is easy, because guess what? Your prep is done. Your steak is already cooked. You just make your salad, slide this off, and you're good to go. And these will last about 2 to 3 days in the fridge in a Ziploc bag. If you have skewers like this left over and you want them to cool down fast, my suggestion, pull them off the skewer, because that skewer is going to retain heat. Pull them off the skewer, lay them on a plate, put that plate in your fridge and leave it uncovered so they have a chance to cool. Then before you go to bed, put a piece of plastic wrap over the top, and everything will be covered up and wrapped and protected for you in the morning. So, all right, like I said, don't forget, you can head over to cobeef.com, Colorado Beef Council website. You can grab today's recipe. Just head up top, click on that cook link that's up on top. There's a little tab called cook. Bring that up, and you will be able to find all the recipes we've done today, all the lives we've been doing for the last 2 years. And then also on that tab, you will be able to find the beef locator map. And like I said, we so appreciate what all of our farmers and ranchers do to keep us filled in our fridges and our freezers and our bellies with Colorado beef. So head over to the cobeef.com, Colorado Beef Council website, and you will be able to click the beef locator map and find someone who can help get you some fresh Colorado beef to keep your house well stocked. I just talked to one of my friends today, and he said, hey, remind me the website to go to. Walked him through it. So many great ranchers and producers there. You cannot go wrong at all. Definitely have a lot of good options. But thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for joining us. We are going to take a couple pictures of this. We will put this up on Facebook tomorrow for you with a link to the recipe and a link to today's live. So if you missed it, you can come back and watch it. But thank you so much. I'm Chef Jason Morse for my friends at the Colorado Beef Council. Thank you for hanging out with us on another Friday Night with Beef. We will see you next month, and we're going to take a poll. Yeah, we're going to do a survey. We will do a Facebook survey, give you a couple options to pick, and we'll see what you would like us to pick next month. But it's going to be viewer request month in August on Friday Night with Beef. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. We will see you soon. Enjoy your beef kebabs, because I'm telling you what, I've been eyeballing this piece right here. Cheers. Yeah. Probably going to eat these most of the night.